Hey everybody. I got some questions about the little unicorn argument from quiz 3, so let's walk through it together. The first thing we want to do is make sure we have a handle on the concepts of validity and soundness. A valid argument is an argument where if the premises are true, then the conclusion must be true. And an equivalent way to say that is to say that for the argument, if it's valid, then it's impossible that the premises be true and the conclusion be false. Okay? Validity then is a question about the relationship between the premises and the conclusion. If the premises are true, would they make the conclusion true? Soundness, on the other hand, focuses on, in addition to validity, so an argument in order to be sound has to be valid, but in addition, it has to actually have true premises. So an argument is sound if it's valid and has true premises. That means it can be unsound, that is not sound, by any of those three ways. It can be invalid, it can have at least one false premise, or both of those things. So take a look at the unicorn argument. It says, for anything, if I can doubt that it exists, then it exists. I can doubt that unicorns exist, therefore unicorns exist. So we have two premises and a conclusion. Now, this argument has a logical form that says for any x, if x has one feature, then it has another. So if px, then qx. And then it says, well, unicorns have one feature, and therefore unicorns have the other feature. So for any x, if px, then qx, we can put unicorns in there, right? For any unicorn, if I can doubt the unicorn exists, then it exists. And this is a valid logical form. It actually has a name. It's called modus ponens. If the premises are true, the conclusion would have to be true, right? So if it's true that for anything, if I can doubt it exists, then it exists, and it's true that I can doubt that unicorns exist, that would guarantee that unicorns exist. That's what the first premise says, right? Is if it can be doubted, then it exists. Second one says it's doubted. Conclusion says it exists. So this is a valid argument. If the premises are true, the conclusion must be true. It's not possible for the premises to all be true and the conclusion be false. However, as you've no doubt noticed, the conclusion is in fact false. There are no unicorns, okay? So since the argument is valid, but it has a false conclusion, that's a big clue that the argument must have a false premise. Indeed, it does, right? There are no unicorns. And the problem here is that it's just not true that for anything, if I doubt that it exists, right? So if I say, I doubt that there's an Easter bunny, then that doesn't guarantee the existence of the Easter bunny. So this argument is valid, but it's not sound. It has at least one false premise, and that's how we end up with a valid argument with a false conclusion. Okay, well, I hope you understand a little bit more about validity and soundness, and sorry about the unicorns.